Hello, hello. It's Big Cheds. How's everybody doing? Thank you for hanging out. I love that intro song, Church of Eight Wheels. This is part of the quick market update series on YouTube. I'm Cheds Trading on YouTube. Most of you or many of you probably know me from Twitter, where I am at Big Cheds. Here on YouTube, I do these quick 15 minute updates. If you're looking for longer, full market analysis, Bitcoin Live twice a week. I do a full market report with the best team in the world that studies crypto. Most of what I do is free here on YouTube. Start with the Masterclass technical analysis tutorial playlist. It's going to help you understand what I'm trying to teach you. I teach professional TA, Japanese candlestick theory, and classical charting. I've published 3 books. The 4th book is on the way. They're mostly free on my various channels. So everybody, how's everybody doing? I hope you can hear me okay. Thank you for being here with me. If you want to say hi, if you want to say something in the chat room, just hit subscribe and drop me a comment. Let me know where you're from. And what I like to do is answer questions. If you have some good trading questions, I can use those to create some value in these quick market updates. So drop like a question about trading, and we can go from there. Also, I'm curious if you folks know me from Twitter or you just found me on YouTube. I'm kind of curious. Let me know how you found the channel. So looking here at Bitcoin, the trend is quite strong. Certainly in the weekly chart, we've talked a lot about the weekly trend, the simple MA200, nice price distance to the MA200, acceleration out of the prior consolidation range, and pausing and consolidating near the range peak with a brief tag of the EMA8, exponential moving average, 8 period, exponential meaning more price weighting to the most recent candle. And we've talked a lot about the daily chart. The scary head and shoulders, I've been talking a lot about that and how it's really not a head and shoulders until it would complete. Here's the neck baseline, or it would invalidate. Here's the right shoulder invalidation. So it's nice. And first of all, most reversal patterns fail. So you're actually buying here in a neck base test, and you've had really nice bounce here a couple times. I think when people are already calling, top and ready for the price to roll over, it's bounced nicely off the neck baseline. As always, I try to find some tweets on my feed to discuss, to create some content. This is what I'm trying to do, create some educational content. So now the daily chart is approaching a lower high. We have the initial high here. You even call it even doji star if you want. Doesn't matter that much. But we set the high with an up thrust over the high wave candle, right from December 5th. And that's our high. And we tried to bounce, and this is where that bounce was met. And that's our lower high. We're marking that as a potential pivot point, momentum pivot point. That's the right shoulder. That would be your invalidation if you're a bear. That would be another bullish signal. Another long signal if you're a bull. If you wanted to get long, you already got a long signal. On the descending supply trend break, you were on watch for the second level filter, lower high break. You got it here. You had another long opportunity if you got here at 92K. On the neck baseline, another long played out here. So the price has traded nicely and consolidated in a pretty neat and orderly fashion. So that's that quick markup. I'm going to go now and take a look at the chat room and check out the comments. It's just me. There's no moderator. So I'll try to read your comment. I may miss it. And if sorry if I don't see it, but let's see what everyone has to do. Hey, from Los Angeles, I found you a long time on YouTube. Appreciate you. Keep dunking on Jonas, Todd says. Jonas is actually a buddy of mine. So we're playfully, we make fun of each other for fun. Rosa says I can finally join a live. Rosa, great to see you. Great to see you. I see some questions. Let's get to those. Hey, Taylor, nice to see you as well. And Will and Figment and Tom and Chocolate and all these folks. So I see a couple chart requests. I'll see if we can get to those in a moment. So Ursula says, Chad, here's a good question. Ursula says, I'm starting my Bitcoin journey. Well, welcome. I've been here since 2017, right around 3K. I don't have an entry point or strategy since I missed. Well, first of all, if you just want to, have some of Bitcoin for the long run, just dollar cost average, buy $50 a week, buy a certain amount every week, and don't even look at the price because you're buying for the long term. It is a secular or long-term uptrend, especially if you don't have any kind of a background in technical analysis. I definitely try to teach that stuff, but it takes a long time. You just buy a little bit. If you're looking to trade Bitcoin, right, first of all, you really want to make sure you've watched my Masterclass tutorial. But what you're going to need to do, what I would say at this point, the next, so I just went over a couple lower time frame signals. We talked about those in the 4-hour, right? Here, if it breaks 100K or 99.5, that's a long signal, right? So in classical charting, a failed reversal pattern is a very powerful signal. That's why right shoulder invalidation would be a very, and this, I'm writing about this in my book Trading Journal. This is one of the setups. On a right shoulder invalidation, you could go long. You could also take a long on a retest of 92K. The more it tests it, the more likely it is to break, the less likely it is to bounce, but that's still a demand area. And even another retest of 92K, 91.5 zone, that would be a buy spot as well. And you would manage your risk and say, okay, if the price drops below 90K, I'm out, or 91K, something like that. So I think pretty standard. You're going to want to wait either for a test of demand or a lower high break. In this case, that would be right around 100K. So that would be a way to, to get into some Bitcoin, get some exposure. But if you're just looking to have some, I would just buy a little bit in dollar cost average. It's a very nice little simple strategy. A bunch of people asked for Ethereum, so let's do that. Let's take a look at Ethereum. It's above 3,500. That was a long signal. You see where support was turned into resistance. The price attempted to bounce a couple times. It was turned back. And you can see the price accelerating above that level. That's a long signal. So now you're long from 3,500, 3,550, and your risk is going to be just below. If the price is unable to hold 35, that would be your stop loss. It's a very simple type of a setup whereas using a very clear horizontal level of supply and demand, where lost support was turned into resistance and bulls recaptured. And we're seeing a bunch of this actually in the market. Many of them have this structure, the two-level filter, where they have the descending trend line break and the lower high break. Pretty much all across the market, we see that with ADA, right? You're already long in ADA from 95 cents, for example. So we're seeing that similar structure across the market. A lot of people are calling bottom in Ethereum versus Bitcoin. I am not convinced yet. These are all just mean reversion shirts, a potential high or low, but we really need to break a lower high. You really need to flip this level 041, ideally with the following 200, have that start to flatten out. That's going to be an important first step. I'm going to be skeptical that Ethereum has bottomed versus Bitcoin until that changes, right? So that's my quick thoughts on those. Let's see. Let's check some other questions here. About 7-8 minutes. We have a little bit of time left. All right. Let's see. Talk about Ethereum. I don't know what. A company I've never heard of. I won't mention that. I found you with Ivan on Tech. That's awesome. Ivan's a good dude. So let's talk about SEI. So SUI is super strong. I mean, SUI is ridiculous, right? SUI, and I think that was a tweet I had here to talk about. So SUI scores a breakout. I talked about flexing breakout on the daily chart here back in December 20th. We had some, relative strength. Flexing means preparing to, attempting to break out, flexing. It's a term, and these videos are good for me to explain my terminology on Twitter, on X. Attempting to break out, testing that, and then boom, SUI scores the breakout. So this has been one of the stronger charts. It's had relative strength, held the MA50 very nicely. You see those tags in the symbol MA50, held that very nicely. Given the price response, again, off the MA50, you're going to want to watch that going forward. SEI. So someone had put in the comments, well, SUI's going, shouldn't SEI? That's more of a fundamental analysis call. You got to play each chart. This is nowhere near the chart that we just looked at. SEI sucks compared to SUI. Just because you think for, like XLM and XRP move together, do they? Maybe sometimes. You need to resist that inclination, that temptation, that first instinct. Trade each chart based on the four corners, right? Just based on the four corners of the chart, right? Just everything inside this chart. Don't convince yourself. When you do the fundamentals, you're convincing yourself the price should be doing something. It should be here. And now guess what? You're arguing with the market, right? So that's not what you want to do. This is weak compared to SUI. I would be in SUI, not in SEI for sure. There's a bunch of requests, folks. I definitely won't be able to get to all of the requests. So if we break 90 to 92K on Bitcoin, what's the next strongest support? It's going to be that high, that low 70K range. It's going to be the peak, the top of this prior peak. We have a very brief pause in consolidation. I do not think the price would hold here. All right. This is a very brief, given the length of consolidation here, it's pretty decent in terms of the time we spent in this channel, 50 days, 60 days. And the amount of times it's tested this level, if we break this level, it is unlikely to hold here in the 80s. There's not enough demand. There's a pretty good chance we drop all the way back down to the low 70s if we lose 92K. And that's how I've been viewing it. Cheds, you're the Nick Saban of TA. I hope that's good. I know it's good. I'm not a huge college football guy, but I know people like him. I appreciate you. Let's see, one or two more. Someone asked me to check DOT. This is an interesting one because I'm viewing this as an underside retest and a short setup. I actually tweeted this out as a potential short setup. Why? Well, it is an underperforming chart. It's weak relative to much of the rest of the market. Look where it is compared to 2022 lows. This is a big delineator in the market. You always look to see where the price is versus 2022. Bitcoin was here doing the failed double bottom around 40K back then. This is pretty weak compared to the market. It's below a falling, sideways MA200. So it's a weaker chart that's just bounced. We just had this breakout held and then failed to hold. These are underside retests. So in an uptrend, you want to buy the dip. In a downtrend, you sell the rip. So this is a sell the rip situation, a bounce into underside. I like this as a short setup. And your invalidation is probably like $8 or something. I put it out at like $7.90. I think this is actually a pretty decent little short setup. So I'd rather be short than long on DOT. All right, folks. Thank you so much. These are quick market updates, part of the series here on YouTube. These are 10, 15 minutes, kind of variety shows. If you're looking for more in-depth analysis, tomorrow night I'll do the twice-a-week full market report at Bitcoin Live, Wednesday, Sunday night, no matter what. Haven't skipped that and coming up on 7 years. Watch my Masterclass playlist. Check out my free books. I got another book coming along the way. Of course, I'm on Twitter at Big Cheds. Come say hi on there. And if I didn't get your question, I'm sorry. These are just quick updates. I'll try to get to it the next update. I'll do one on Monday, probably like early afternoon. So make sure to hit subscribe and hit notifications. And I will try to I'll try to get your question. I'll try to catch up with you on Monday. Until then, I hope everybody has an awesome weekend. And thank you for joining me for this update. And have some fun tonight. And take care of yourself. Be kind to yourself. And I will talk to you soon. Big Cheds out. Jimmy, hold on a second. Jimmy just talked about if you scroll out in the Bitcoin Weekly and a 4-year-long cup, and I've heard 88K and 84K as reversals. It doesn't matter what you've heard, right? I just explained to you there's really no support here. Given the significance of this price level, given the time it spent in this range, okay, and given how briefly it paused here, this is not going to be support. Price is almost definitely not going to hold here, Jimmy, if the price breaks down. We're very likely going to drop to the low 70s. So I just do not see it holding here based on what I've learned, the textbooks I've read, CMT1. It just doesn't make sense. There's not enough structure here. So that's why this is such a pivotal, very pivotal level. So the whole thing, I've heard this, I've heard that. I just kind of explained why this is probably not going to hold. So if we lose 92K. So folks, thank you so much. Sorry about that. And I'll talk to you soon. Peace out.